Some rifles try to get your attention with flashy looks, but there's a quiet success story out there that doesn't rely on hype or elaborate marketing. It's the type of gun that simply performs whenever you press the trigger, no questions asked. In this video, we'll talk about a bolt action that's become a favorite among hunters, ranchers, homesteaders, and everyday shooters without being plastered all over ad campaigns or social media. For those of us who value reliability, flexibility in caliber choices, and the ability to tweak or modify a rifle for specific needs, the Ruger American Ranch has quickly turned into a go-to option. We all love the idea of an affordable, accurate firearm that can take a beating, handle a suppressor, and still shoot sub-MOA groups. That's exactly what this rifle has been doing in the fields, at the range, and for real-world tasks like predator control, deer hunting, and general ranch work. It's not often you hear about a bolt-action rifle that is described as airgun quiet when paired with subsonic loads and a suppressor. But if you dive into the online discussion boards, you'll see folks raving about how it can take down deer or varmints just as easily as it can serve as a range toy. A huge part of its popularity is how it comes ready for a suppressor right from the factory. Most models are not only threaded, but also sport features like a tang safety, a 70-degree bolt throw that gives you nice clearance for modern optics, and a design that's built around portability. It's a short, handy rifle with a 16-inch barrel, making it highly maneuverable in thick brush, inside a truck, or around tight corners when pest control is the name of the game. The Ruger American Ranch typically retails with a suggested price of $669, although street prices can be significantly lower in many places. That might not be pocket change, but in the world of firearms, especially well-made bolt guns that can achieve minute of angle or sub-minute of angle accuracy, this is a relatively approachable price point. Ruger offers multiple chamberings for the ranch configuration, so you can pick and choose exactly what you need. Whether you want 5.56 NATO for easy access to cheap ammo, 7.62 by 39 for slightly more oomph and possibly more affordable surplus rounds, 300 Blackout for that sweet suppressed shooting, or even heavier hitters like 450 Bushmaster or 350 Legend, you can find something that suits your region and your preferences. They've even produced runs in 6.5 Grendel, 204 Ruger, and other interesting calibers, though some of these are harder to find. If you want to talk about how flexible this platform is, just consider the magazine compatibility. Some of these models feed from AR-15 magazines, while the 7.62 by 39 version uses Ruger Mini 30 mags. That means you can potentially share ammo and mags between your bolt-action ranch and your semi-auto carbines, cutting down on extra gear or confusion. But the Ruger American Ranch's biggest strengths include its cold hammer-forged barrel, its patented power bedding system, and its adjustable trigger. The barrel being cold hammer forged helps with both accuracy and longevity. That's how they produce rifling that is precise and durable. The bedding system keeps the receiver locked in so the barrel can free float, which contributes to the rifle's tight groupings. Online reviews confirm sub-MOA performance using mid-tier or sometimes even cheap ammo, especially after some break-in time. The factory trigger, called the Marksman Adjustable Trigger, can be adjusted to a pull weight between 3 and 5 pounds. Most people prefer it right out of the box, while others eventually swap in an aftermarket option like a Timney if they're after a crisper break or a lighter pull for long-range precision. Either way, it's a big advantage for a budget-minded rifle to have an adjustable trigger from the factory, because that alone can transform your shooting experience. The synthetic stock, on the other hand, does tend to spark some debate. It's lightweight, which is fantastic for a rifle intended to be carried a lot, but some owners describe it as flimsy or flexy, especially around the forend. If you press the forend against a barrel or try to rest it on a bag, the plastic can bend enough to come in contact with the barrel, potentially affecting accuracy. That said, it doesn't always happen in real-world use, and many owners simply don't mind it for their typical hunting or range outings. Others, though, have zero tolerance for any wiggle. In that case, you can upgrade to a Boyd's laminate, a chassis system from Oryx, or an MDT if you're going for that more tactical or precision-oriented look. Some folks also do a DIY job reinforcing the factory stock with epoxy or carbon arrow shafts. So yes, it's not perfect from the factory, but it's definitely workable for the typical ranch scenario. We see shooters using their American Ranch for everything from plinking to serious whitetail hunts. largely thanks to the variety of calibers. The 350 Legend model is popular in certain states that require straight-wall cartridges for deer. The 450 Bushmaster is a great brush gun for big game in states with similar restrictions. With 5.56, you can engage in varmint control or even target shooting with the cheapest ammo around. Another point that resonates with many Pro 2A shooters is the fact that Ruger didn't create a massive marketing push for the ranch model. It wasn't accompanied by glitzy promotional videos with special operations veterans or celebrity hunters. It just showed up on shelves, quietly, and people who bought it started sharing their positive experiences online. Word traveled, and more individuals began experimenting with different chamberings, different upgrades, and different use cases, eventually leading to a groundswell of enthusiasm in the community. That's why you can see those posted forum comments saying, "Probably one of the most underrated bolt guns on the market," or "I don't care what anybody says, the Ruger American is the best rifle you can get in its price range." This approach, in many ways, is a breath of fresh air to those of us who value function over flash. Of course, there are some who mention initial quality hiccups, a bit of gritty feeling in the bolt, or some leftover metal shavings under the thread protector. But typically, these are small annoyances that can be fixed with a little cleaning or polishing. A short session of bolt cycling and lubrication will smooth things out, and as you shoot the rifle more, the action just gets better. That said, it would be nice if Ruger consistently shipped them with that smooth action right off the bat. Still, the overwhelming feedback is positive for actual use, whether it's hitting steel at 100 yards or dropping a deer in the next county. What's really fun is how the DIY crowd has embraced this platform. People say things like, swap out that flimsy stock for one of the many options, throw a Timney in there, and you will have an incredibly capable rifle. Others mention upgrading the bolt handle with Anarchy Outdoors or Glades Armory parts for a different knob, then adding a muzzle device beyond just a thread protector. Some owners even go so far as to flute and micro-slick the bolt. It's reminiscent of the AR-15 world, but in bolt action form. You can keep it bone stock and be happy, or you can personalize it like crazy. The tang safety is something a lot of traditional bolt gun owners appreciate too. It's intuitive, easy to flip on and off with the thumb, and it keeps the design looking clean. The 3-lug bolt with a 70-degree lift means you won't have to worry as much about the bolt handle hitting your scope's ocular bell, especially if you have a slightly larger optic. Plus, all the ranch configurations come with a factory-installed Picatinny rail, letting you choose whatever scope rings or mount suits your style. Some prefer a simple 3x9x40 for deer hunting, while others go with an LPVO, low-power variable optic, for close to mid-range predator control. You can even mount a prism sight or a red dot if you want something fast and minimalistic. The point is, you have plenty of choices. Considering the short barrel, many people think of it as a 200-yard or under tool, but that doesn't mean you can't push it further, particularly if you're shooting 2.23 or even 7.62 by 39 with a good load. Sure, you'll lose a bit of velocity compared to a 20-inch or 24-inch barrel, but for the average hunter who rarely takes game beyond 200 or 250 yards, that's a sacrifice worth making to have a more maneuverable package. In thick woods or brush, or when you're carrying it over long distances, that shorter length might be exactly what you want. But we should acknowledge a common question. Is it the best bolt-action rifle ever made? Probably not, if we measure it purely by refined fit and finish or competition-level capabilities. But that isn't the point. The point is that you're getting a rifle that can go from the box to the field, handle a variety of uses, and deliver accuracy many would not expect for the price. You don't have to dump a fortune into it to make it shoot well. You can, however, spend a little extra to optimize it exactly for your needs, whether that means a new stock, a muzzle brake or suppressor, or a custom bolt knob. And that's why it's been catching on with those of us who appreciate having the right tool for the job without needing to mortgage a house to afford it. Affordability and modularity are two key ingredients of the modern firearms market. We see it in AR-15s, we see it in Glocks, and we're now seeing it in bolt guns like the Ruger American Ranch. It doesn't wave a big tactical banner, it just shows up with the basics done right. That's how it has earned so much support among those who shoot regularly, hunt year-round, and live in areas where they might need a reliable rifle on a daily basis. The folks at Ruger took a simple approach. Keep the cost down, incorporate a robust bedding system, offer multiple popular and some niche chamberings, thread the barrel, provide a user-adjustable trigger, and let the shooters handle the rest. To put it bluntly, we all love firearms that work, and we appreciate it even more when they're priced within reach of the average person. Some high-end rifles have unbelievably refined triggers, gorgeous stocks, or extremely rigid chassis setups that can produce half-inch groups at 100 yards. That's great, but not everyone has $1,500 to $2,000 or more to spend, especially if they still need to buy optics, ammo, and maybe a suppressor. The American Ranch can be found new for under $500 in some sales, so that frees up extra money to get better glass or feed your new purchase with quality ammo. Then, if you decide to customize later, you can do that step by step. If you do some digging, the avalanche of positive feedback from real owners, people who bought the rifle, used it for several years, took it hunting, or taught new shooters, tells a big story. These individuals aren't reading marketing scripts. They're sharing personal results. From dropping deer and hogs to punching paper at the range, the consensus is that the rifle is accurate, easy to handle, and surprisingly quiet when suppressed. Earlier, I mentioned that the 7.62 by 39 model feeds from Mini-30 magazines, and it's apparently in really high demand. You still get that short barrel and a suppressor-ready muzzle. Cheap surplus or steel-cased ammo can be used for plinking, and you can switch to a nicer soft point or ballistic tip for hunting. Then there's the 300 Blackout version, widely praised by folks who love super quiet subsonic rounds. That's become a favored combination for pest control or just having fun on the range without the ear-splitting blast of a full-powered rifle. Meanwhile, the 5.56 variant letting you run AR mags is a major plus for those of us who already own ARs and want to keep things consistent. So, should you buy one? Well, that question isn't too hard to answer. If you're looking for an inexpensive, well-designed, easily suppressed, and accurate bolt gun that you don't mind beating up a bit, then yes, it's an excellent option. You might have to deal with a stock that has some flex, but that's easily addressed by many aftermarket choices or minor do-it-yourself fixes. If you want a short, quick-handling rifle in a caliber that suits your hunting or ranch tasks, you'll likely be happy with this. It's easy to store, easy to carry, and easy to suppress. You're not going to get a match-grade piece of art, but you'll get a reliable shooter that's ready to roll at a moment's notice. If you check out online gun forums, Ruger American Ranch owners say it's their favorite practical rifle. They use it far more often than even the fancier rifles they own. That's because it does the job in a straightforward manner. It's the kind of rifle you can rely on when a coyote is pestering your livestock or a deer wanders by in an open field. Even the triggers are a pleasant surprise, and if you do want to replace them, it's not hard to find options like a Timney or a Rifle Basics. Throw in the easy availability of parts for the bolt handle, magazine releases, or the entire stock, and you really do have something that's flexible enough for a wide audience. So, if you don't own one, don't you think it's time to give the Ruger American Ranch a shot? Or is there a better choice out there that you've been eyeing for a while? Sound off in the comments, and while you're down there, please like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for more of these videos. Thanks for watching.